On the 15th wedding anniversary, my husband proposed divorce to me. Tiffany and I. You have no income. Even if we go to court, the child cannot be awarded to you, he said coldly. Tiffany was close to him. The nervousness in her eyes was telling me that she wanted to be with Dad. Having been a full-time housewife for 14 years, I have been frugal for this family, and taken care of him and my daughter wholeheartedly. In the end, I ended up with a situation where my husband doesn't love me, and my daughter doesn't want me. At this time, I was surprisingly calm. Okay. My husband's eyes showed surprise. He probably thought that I would hysterically make a scene with him or desperately try to keep the child. But I didn't. Having already experienced a painful lesson once, I won't be stupid again. I got up and went to the room to pack my luggage. In these years, I haven't bought many new clothes, so there aren't many things to pack. You really don't want anything? He stood at the door of the room, full of doubts. I glanced at him and didn't stop packing. I want the house. Will you give it to me? As soon as he heard this, he immediately got excited. No way. This was given to me by my father. You have no right to ask for it. I sneered. Then there's nothing to talk about. In his words, it doesn't matter where it is saved. But I didn't know that he had secretly transferred a large amount of savings to his father long ago, and then let his father buy this house in the form of a gift. In the past, I was too stupid and believed his lies. In the end, I couldn't keep anything. When I left, Tiffany was standing at the door. At the age of 14, she was almost as tall as me. She wore a high ponytail and loose school uniform. There were a few sporadic pimples on her forehead. Her small face showed an expression of interrogating me. Have you never thought about wanting me? She interrogated me. Her tone not polite at all. Just like in my previous life. She was in a rebellious period and was fierce, finding everything unpleasant. The difference is that at that time, she cried and didn't want to be with me. I looked at her, my gaze gentle. I thought you wanted to be with your dad. She was stunned, her eyes flickering, and she pursed her lips unnaturally. Take good care of yourself. I hadn't heard her carrying words for a long time. My heart warmed slightly. I raised my hand to touch her head, but she subconsciously backed away. She was still afraid of me. Sighing, I replied with a smile. Okay. You too. Then I left this home without looking back. I know my daughter loves me, but because I was strict with her since she was young, this love has gradually faded. In my previous life, I threatened with my life. Ryan had no choice but to give me my daughter. He gave me 1,000 yuan for living expenses every month. Tiffany followed me back to live in the 50 square meter old house. At first, she, who was used to living in a big house, was very uncomfortable. Her studies were in a mess. Every night I would accompany her. As long as she made a mistake in a question, I would find 10 similar questions for her to consolidate. In addition to the homework assigned by the teacher, I also bought her a large number of extracurricular exercise books. In those years, Tiffany could hardly sleep until after 2 o'clock in the morning. In the morning, she went to school with panda eyes, looking at her lying exhausted beside the desk. I was never soft-hearted. I woke her up and let her continue doing exercises. She must know the cruelty of competition. If I'm not strict with her, life in the future will make her bow her head. Once, I accidentally found her diary. She said that I was like an inhumane devil. She hated me and wanted to live with her dad. I was so angry that I trembled all over. When she came back, I threw the diary in her face. That was the worst fight between our mother and daughter. She said that I violated her privacy. I said that she didn't understand my painstaking efforts. I smashed everything in the room that could be smashed and told her to go to her dad. And she really went. But 3 hours later, she came back and threw herself into her studies. She saw her dad with another woman. I poured a glass of milk for her and told her that men are unreliable. Only when you are strong enough can you live the life you want in the future. Later, she really transformed completely. She was admitted to a key high school and a good university, and then stayed in the city where the university was located to work and live after graduation. And I never saw her smile at me again. Every time I called her, she would hang up after less than a minute on the pretext of being busy. She would send me living expenses but wouldn't let me see her. Year after year passed. At the age of 30, she still didn't get married. I was very worried. So I secretly went to see her. I didn't know where she lived, so I could only wait outside her company. I saw her chatting and laughing with her colleagues. But the moment I called her, her smile froze. She said goodbye to her friends and walked to me coldly. "Why are you here?" There was no emotion of a mother and daughter meeting. Her attitude was like a basin of cold water pouring over me from head to toe. I went home with her. This was the house she rented. It was very large, but it cost half of her salary. "Why do you live in such a big house alone? Rent a smaller one and you can save more money. A small house is uncomfortable to live in. I am willing to spend money to buy comfort. Girls can't be so extravagant. They will be disliked by men in the future." Here it comes again. Here it comes again. She got up irritably and looked at me angrily. "I don't care if men dislike me, as long as I am happy. I don't want to live like you. Getting married and having children. Being humble and pleasing others. In the end, it's still a divorce. Okay. Mom. I'm already an adult. Can you stop controlling me and stay away from me?" This was the last sentence she said to me in my previous life, after I was fainted by her anger. When I opened my eyes, I was back on the day of divorce. Others are reborn from a young age, but I only returned to the moment of divorce. Still, I am grateful for the opportunity given by God, because in this life, I will not make the same mistakes again. 3. After returning to the old house, I cleaned the inside and outside of the house thoroughly. Although it is very old here, it has the advantage of convenient transportation. After a good sleep, the next day, I went to a housekeeping company to look for a job. The professional knowledge I learned in college has long been returned to the teacher. Now the only thing I can do well is cook delicious dishes. In my previous life, I supported myself and my daughter by being an Annie. Sister Liu of this housekeeping company is warm-hearted. After learning about my situation, she scolded Ryan and then introduced clients to me. To avoid suspicion, I pretended to flip through a few pages and finally pointed to a family surnamed Wang. That was my former employer. In my previous life, I cooked for them for 6 years until they moved away. The Wan family are all highly educated people with extremely high intellectual and moral qualities. At first, when Mrs. Wang saw that I cooked delicious dishes, she once suggested that I open a small restaurant. She could lend me the money. At that time, I was only focused on my daughter. I just wanted to earn a steady salary and raise my daughter to adulthood. I am also naturally pessimistic and worried that if the restaurant doesn't open, I will be in debt instead. Now my state of mind is very different. I cooked a meal for the Wang family and quickly passed the interview. My job is to make breakfast and dinner for them from Monday to Friday and clean on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. These things are easy for me. I know everyone's preferences, so they are very satisfied with me. In addition to work, when I rest at home, I read recipe books or cooking videos and also try at home by myself. Opportunities are always for those who are prepared. I don't want to be limited to only making home-cooked dishes. Maybe creating some unique dishes will be more helpful for the future. I get up at 5:30 in the morning, make some breakfast for myself, and then ride an electric bike to my employer's house. I can easily make Chinese deep-fried dough sticks, steamed buns, jianbing guozi, and Western bread, milk, and sandwiches. At least for half a month. The employer can't eat the same breakfast. As for dinner, they eat lightly. I usually make to meat dishes and to vegetarian dishes, such as steamed sea bass, boiled shrimp, and stir-fried cabbage hearts. There are for people in their family. Mrs. Wang will tell me in advance the number of people who will come home for dinner at night. I cook according to the number of people to avoid waste as much as possible. The days are simple and fulfilling. A month later, I received a call from my husband. He said that the cooling off period was over and asked me to go to the Civil Affairs Bureau to go through the formalities. When Mrs. Wang knew about it, she wanted to give me a day off. I smiled and refused. She had already given me enough time and freedom. How could I be so greedy? On Tuesday morning, after I finished making breakfast and was about to leave for the Civil Affairs Bureau, Mrs. Wang handed me a handbag with a beautiful small white dress inside. Congratulations in advance on your new life. Mrs. Wang encouraged me gently. Just like in the past. But in the past, I stubbornly refused. I wanted Ryan to regret it and wanted him to see my embarrassment and feel guilty. But what I got in return was his contempt. Now thinking about it, I was really stupid. This time, I accepted Mrs. Wang's kindness, put on the small dress, let down my hair, looked at myself in the mirror with a smile, and told myself that I could be better. For at 9:30, I arrived at the Civil Affairs Bureau. Ryan was wearing a black suit with shiny hair. Those who didn't know might think he was here to get married. When he saw me, he was stunned for several seconds. I secretly sneered. Men are indeed visual animals. Speaking of which, I am not very old. I married him at 22 and now I am only 37. Although I can't compare with girls in their 20s. With the embellishment of clothes, I have added a bit of the charm of a mature woman. In the past, to save money, I could wear a t-shirt for 8 years. I always thought that he worked outside and should dress decently. Little did I know that his dissatisfaction with my unkempt appearance had long existed. After a month's absence, you seem like a different person. It seems that you are living a good life. Ryan's words had a hidden meaning and his expression was sarcastic. It's none of your business. I retorted coldly without stopping. Ryan followed behind without speaking. I didn't bother to care about his feelings. It turns out that retorting him is so satisfying. When I got the freshly issued divorce certificate and walked out of the Civil Affairs Bureau without looking back, Ryan suddenly grabbed me. His eyes were burning with anger. Stella, divorcing me so resolutely. Do you have someone else? For so many years, I have known him too well. He is arrogant and proud. He thinks he is a highly educated person with an excellent high-paying job. No one can compare to him. But now seeing my changes and my completely different attitude towards him, his competitive heart can't accept it. I shook off his hand and looked at him amused. Lie. Your appearance of crying thief is really ridiculous. Ryan. A delicate cry made Ryan, who was about to lose his temper, extremely embarrassed. I turned my head and saw a woman in a bright red Chiang's am walking over. She was wearing heavy makeup and had wavy curly hair. She walked closer with a proud expression and then took Ryan's arm. Oh, isn't she here to get married? Didn't you say to come over at 9 o'clock? I couldn't wait. The woman was flirtatious while batting her eyes. I got goosebumps all over. Ryan seemed to want to say something to me. I gave him a blank look directly. My feelings for him have long been exhausted in the passage of time. Now I don't care at all who he is with. But when I think of my daughter, I still feel a little sad. I don't know whether she will resist or gladly accept her ex-husband's new wife. Probably for her. Any woman being her new mother is better than me. Forget it. The child is grown up and has her own choices. I don't want to be the devil who controls her life in her mouth anymore. Unexpectedly, when I had let go, trouble came looking for me. A few days later, I received a call from Tiffany's head teacher, saying that she had fought with a child in her class. I was a little surprised. There was no such thing in my previous life. Fortunately, the Wang family all ate at their work units at noon. When I rushed to the school, I saw her and a chubby boy standing in the office. There was a bruise at the corner of the boy's mouth. He said it was caused by Tiffany slapping him. There were no marks on Tiffany's face. Only her ponytail was crooked and her hair was messy. When Tiffany saw me, she immediately turned her head away. I greeted the head teacher. He politely asked me to sit down first and wait until the boys' parents came to talk together. 5 minutes later, the boys' parents arrived. As soon as they saw their son's appearance, they immediately flew into a rage. "Stupid kid. You can't even beat a girl. Aren't you ashamed?" I twitched the corner of my mouth. This perspective is really peculiar. The head teacher quickly stepped forward to smooth things over and said that they were all children and were impulsive. It would be fine if they talked things out. Then the parent sat down and nodded at me. His expression didn't seem angry. Instead, he seemed a bit embarrassed. The head teacher told us that the two children were desk mates. They had an argument over a small matter. The boy couldn't win the argument with Tiffany, so he cursed her mother. That is, me. He said that I dressed like a seductive woman and didn't look like a good woman at first glance. I looked at my plain clothes. Where did I look like a seductive woman? Stupid kid. You deserve to be beaten. The boy's parent looked at me apologetically. I'm sorry. Tiffany's mother. He is a little brat. No one takes care of him. So he is outspoken. Uncle? You clearly said that yesterday. And it's not this aunt. You little brat. You. Wait. What did you say? The boy's parent turned to look at me. A few minutes later, we finally figured out the truth. It turned out that yesterday Tiffany's stepmother sent her to school. Then the boy and his uncle saw her. That woman had heavy makeup and was wearing very revealing clothes. No wonder others would gossip a bit. With the misunderstanding cleared up, the two children apologized to each other. The matter was considered resolved. The head teacher knew that I had just divorced his father. Considerately, he lent the office to our mother and daughter and urged me to pay more attention to Tiffany. Teenagers are very sensitive. Now that her father has remarried, it's inevitable that it will hurt her heart. I nodded in agreement but couldn't help sighing secretly. My concern was once regarded by Tiffany as confinement and pressure. Naturally, I won't talk to her in the same way as before. In front of me, Tiffany was like a hedgehog, staring at me with hostility. If you want to scold me, just do it quickly. In 5 minutes. I want to go back to the classroom. I pointed at Tiffany's hair. It's a bit messy. Her expression paused. Probably she didn't expect that the first thing I said to her was not criticism. She quickly took off the hair tie and combed her hair again. Is your stepmother good to you? I asked. There was an almost imperceptible frown on her face, which quickly disappeared. She stiffened and her neck and replied. Of course she is very good. When I don't want to eat, she buys me KFC. She buys me beautiful clothes. She also says that if I don't want to study, I don't have to. Girls don't have to work so hard. In the past, I would definitely have scolded that woman for having ulterior motives. But now, well, if this is the life you want, it's up to you. My words made her eyes change rapidly. From smugness to surprise. And from surprise to anger. You weren't like this before. Do you not want to care about me anymore? No matter what I become. You don't care. See. She knows what is good and what is wrong. But it's just rebellious psychology at work. Of course I hope you are well. But the good I mean requires your efforts. It can't be obtained just by eating McDonald's and KFC or wearing beautiful clothes. It requires the determination to hang one's head from a beam and prick one's thigh with an AWL. And the perseverance to move forward bravely. I saw her frown even more tightly. I didn't continue speaking. I stood up and walked to her side. However, no matter what choice you make, you are still my daughter. As long as you are happy, I am happy. Mom won't force you anymore. Tiffany looked at me in disbelief, as if she thought I had become a different person. Go back to the classroom. I'm leaving. At the moment I opened the door, I heard Tiffany call me, Mom. My heart tightened and suddenly, I turned to look at her. What's wrong? When will you come to see me? There was expectation in her eyes. When you need me. I smiled gently at her. This conflict unexpectedly brought about a subtle improvement in the relationship between Tiffany and me. A lot of the knot in my heart dissipated. Walking out of the school. The boy's uncle was actually waiting for me outside the school. Tiffany's mother. Where are you going? I'll give you a ride. No need. I politely refused. The boy is called Tim. His parents work in other places and leave the child at home for his grandparents to take care of. Apart from daily necessities. His uncle who works locally is responsible for his studies. But I have always disliked bothering others. Especially since I have only met him once. At best. We can only be considered strangers who know each other. But this person is quite stubborn. He parked the car, walked up to me, and took out his work ID to show me, indicating that he is a decent person. I was both amused and exasperated. I glanced at his work ID. His name is Leo and he works in the same unit as Mr. Wang. This realization gave me a hint of familiarity. I got in his car and told him where I wanted to go. Leo said it was such a coincidence. His leader lived there. I told him that I was the nanny of his family. He was shocked. I don't know if he was shocked by my candor or by how small the world is. But except for being surprised, he didn't have any contemptuous attitude towards me. He said, I know that Director Wang is very picky about food. Your cooking must be very good. I was not modest either and nodded confidently. I make a living by my cooking skills. To be honest, I'm actually a foodie. Hearing that you're good at cooking, I really want to go to President Wang's house and freeload a meal. Leo said jokingly with a smile. I gave a slight smile. That depends on the leader's mood. 7 in the following days. My life returned to calm. Only when I was on holiday and resting. There would occasionally be one more person at home. Tiffany. When she just came back, she was still a bit awkward. When she saw everything I had prepared for her. Somehow, her eyes reddened. She threw herself into my arms and hugged me tightly. What's wrong? I was a bit confused. Being so close to her seemed to be when she was very young. Mom, I miss you. Tiffany said. My eyes immediately reddened. It had been too long. It had really been too long since I had felt my daughter's attachment to me. My heart was wrapped in a thick affection. At night, Tiffany and I had a long heart-to-heart talk, chatting about the interesting, embarrassing, and awkward things when she was a child. There was continuous laughter. In the past, I wholeheartedly put her in the rules and regulations I set, making her lose the innocence of a child. Now looking at her defenseless and open appearance towards me, I also felt a great relief. It turned out that if we didn't focus on her studies, our mother and daughter could get along like friends. She knew that her stepmother was only superficially kind to her. In fact, she wanted to spoil her and make her father disappointed in her. Then the children she gave birth to later could get all her father's love. It's all played like this on TV. I know it all. Tiffany said to me like a little adult. I gave a helpless smile. Just as I was about to accuse her of not watching nutritious TV shows and reading more books. On second thought, I swallowed the words that were on the tip of my tongue, touched her head and said, My girl is really smart. She smiled even more brightly. Mom, you've changed. What's changed? I asked knowingly. In the past, you never praised me. You always disliked that I didn't do this well and that well. Mom, do you know? When you praise me once, I'm even sweeter than eating candy. My heart tightened. I'm sorry, Tiffany. Mom was wrong. There were tears glistening in Tiffany's eyes. In her heart, my mother was strong and unreasonable. Getting along with her happily like this and apologizing to her made her both surprised and moved. I said if she wasn't happy at that home, she could move here and live with me. She refused. I thought she disliked that this place was too small. She knew that I was very hardworking as a nanny and didn't want to cause me trouble. She also said that I should have my own life and let me find a boyfriend and have a happy love affair. I was both amused and annoyed. Having lived 2 lifetimes, those things between men and women are really dispensable to me. For now, I just want to work hard, save money, and wait for the right time. Time passed quickly to the Spring Festival. The Wang family unanimously thought that the dishes I cooked were better than those outside. So Mr. Wang planned to invite some colleagues to have a family reunion dinner at home. I drafted a menu and showed it to Mrs. Wang. After getting her approval, I went on a big shopping spree at the supermarket and vegetable market. On the way back, I ran into Leo. When he saw me carrying large and small bags in my hands, he took them over on his own initiative. Thank you. You're welcome. When preparing the meal, Leo wanted to help me, although I said no. In my heart, I was afraid that he would mess things up. After all, my ex-husband had never cooked before, and neither could Mr. Wang. But Leo insisted on showing me his skills. To my surprise, his knife skills were very good. The shredded potatoes were very thin and distinct. He told me that when he was studying abroad, he was not used to eating Western food, so he learned to cook by himself. Indeed, such a refined man working in the kitchen looked quite charming. With him as an assistant, the speed at which I cooked also increased a lot. When cooking, Leo stood not far away and watched, saying that he wanted to learn secretly. I didn't say yes or no. Stella, you can even make Buddha jumps over the wall. You're so amazing. Leo praised me. Then, realizing something later, he added, I heard your name from President Wang. Do you mind if I call you like this? No. I don't mind. I replied with a faint smile. If your task is to take care of your family every day, and you have been working for more than 10 years without a break, your skills might be even better than mine. I always think that full-time wives are very great. Leo said. The spatula in my hand paused for a second. I didn't turn back and couldn't see his expression. From his tone, I heard sincere admiration. I forced a bitter smile. Not everyone thinks like you. Ryan thought that I did nothing all day at home and still had to rely on him to support me. I was a useless woman who could only hold him back. That's because others are blind. Love yourself more. You deserve better. His voice was magnetic and pleasant. My heart warmed. I turned back and smiled at him. Thank you. 2 hours later, all of Mr. Wang's colleagues arrived. On the dining table were also placed 12 delicious dishes with excellent color, aroma, and taste. Stir-fried swimming crab with scallions. Buddha jumps over the wall. Braised lion's head in brown sauce. Braised prawns in oil. The aroma wafted and directly stimulated the taste buds. Mrs. Wang asked me to sit down too. I refused. I didn't understand the topics they were discussing. Sitting at the same table really made me feel out of place. Although I didn't sit at the table, while tiddying up in the kitchen, I could occasionally hear everyone's full praise for the dishes. And I was very satisfied. The Wang family's reunion dinner was lively and warm. In the end, after the guests left, I didn't finish cleaning up until 11 p.m. Mrs. Wang said that their whole family would go on a trip tomorrow and I could take a holiday and rest. She also gave me a red envelope, saying it was a festival bonus. I took it with a smile. Just as I was about to leave, I saw Leo coming out of the study. He hadn't left yet. Mr. Wang saw that it was too late. Originally, he was going to ask his son to send me off. As a result, Leo said that he was on the way. Mrs. Wang smiled and told me that Leo was reliable and asked me to rest assured. Her eyes wandered back and forth between the two of us. I am not an inexperienced girl. How could I not understand Mrs. Wang's ambiguous joke? It's just that this joke is a bit outrageous. On the way, Leo and I have been discussing recipes. He likes the Buddha jumps over the wall I made very much and wants me to tell him the detailed steps. So we added WeChat. And then marked the steps as 1:9 on New Year's Eve. Tiffany came to celebrate the new year with me. Leo's WeChat message came again. At first, it was simple blessings and greetings. Then he sent me a picture of the Buddha jumps over the wall he made with the caption, "Seek praise." I was amused and replied with a thumbs up emoji, knowing that Tiffany was with me. Leo's nephew wanted to ask Tiffany math questions. I was extremely surprised. Are children so competitive now that they still study on New Year's Eve? Who would have thought that after this girl heard about it? Her face immediately changed, and she scolded the other party for being unethical, saying that they had agreed not to do homework before the third day of the Lunar New Year. She took my phone and made a voice call directly. The one who answered the phone was Leo. Tiffany greeted him politely. But when it was his nephew, Tiffany's volume increased by 8 degrees. "Tim, you didn't keep your word. Only did one side. Lied. Okay. As you said. It's a deal. What problem can't you do?" Tiffany's anger comes and goes quickly. I don't know what the other party promised her. She took a piece of paper and a pen and began to solve the problem seriously. Looking at my daughter immersed in learning, I remembered the call from her head teacher when Tiffany's final grades came out. The words were full of praise for Tiffany's changes. With countless thoughts in my mind, it turns out that I don't have to force her, and she can become better. Just as the teacher told me, every child is a flower bud. They have different growth cycles. Parents should not pull up seedlings to help them grow. They just need to water them with love and wait for the flowers to bloom. I think that with Tiffany's current positive learning attitude, her future will definitely be better than in her previous life. 2 years later, Tiffany was admitted to a key high school with excellent grades. Leo's nephew Tim scored 1 point more than Tiffany. The two made an appointment to celebrate. But they didn't want to be misunderstood. So they took me and Leo with them. They can be regarded as revolutionary friends who became acquainted through conflicts. In the past 2 years, except for discussing delicious food on WeChat and seeing each other a few times at Mr. Wang's house, Leo and I have had no other contact. This is the first time we have had an appointment to eat out since we met. But neither of us is embarrassed. Leo is very humorous. Whenever he throws out a topic, it will make the three of us laugh. When it was time to pay the bill, I asked to split the bill with Leo. But Leo refused. He said that when going out for a meal, there is no reason for a girl to treat Stella? Suddenly, a voice sounded behind me. Looking back, it was indeed Ryan, and his flamboyant current wife. Ryan squinted and sized up Leo beside me. Boyfriend? Finding someone so young. Aren't you afraid of being deceived? I sneered. If I find someone like you, will there be a good ending? Ryan was taunted and frowned. You. Before I could hear the rest of his words, my shoulder was suddenly gently put around. My heart trembled. Looking at Leo, his perfect jawline was unsmiling. Hello. Ex-brother-in-law. I am Cece's current boyfriend. I am rather stubborn and will definitely not do the thing of abandoning my wife who has shared hardships with me. His eyes were cold and sharp. In less than a moment, Ryan was defeated. He just looked at me and said, Tiffany is going to high school. When you have a boyfriend, it's best to pay attention to her emotions. I'll give you these words back intact. My eyes swept towards his wife. As a result, the other party didn't look at me. She said to Ryan, Okay. People can do whatever they want. Why do you care so much? General Manager Liu is still waiting for you. Let's go. Let's go. She pulled him away. I quietly distanced myself from Leo. Thank you just now. In fact, you don't have to do this. Leo, Stella. He opened his mouth, wanting to say something but hesitating. My heart was in turmoil because of his call of Cece. Mom. Uncle. The two children walked out from the corner and interrupted Leo's words. Tim. Uncle? You were so cool just now. Tiffany. Yes. Uncle Lin. You are so handsome. Then she took my arm. If my mom really had a boyfriend like you, it would be just great. Little girl. Don't make such jokes. I gave Tiffany a warning look. She stuck out her tongue. This little episode added an indescribable strangeness between Leo and me. In fact, a woman's intuition can guess what Leo wants to say. But it won't work. Not only is there an age gap between us, but our identities are also vastly different. I don't want to break the simple and pure friendship. So later, when he sent me text messages, I either didn't reply or replied very simply. We are all adults. He should understand very well that my attitude shows my decision. For a long time after that, we didn't contact each other. I buried myself in researching delicious food. Finally, my opportunity came. Mrs. Wang said that it was a pity that I was just a nanny. This time she is not going to lend me money to open a restaurant, but is going to invest in me to open a restaurant. 77 I gladly accepted. I asked Mrs. Wang to draw up a contract. I took shares with technology and accounted for 10. Mrs. Wang accounted for 90. When the contract came out, it was written that she and I each accounted for 50. Mrs. Wang said that my craftsmanship is worth this price. She also lent me many management books. She said that for a restaurant to be well run, it is not only craftsmanship but also advanced management concepts. I am not very intelligent, but I am willing to endure hardships. Every night, I will take out 2 hours to read books and write down important content in my notebook. When Tiffany came over, she teased me that I was like a student. The restaurant is located on the street opposite an office building. Mr. Wang named it Jun Ting, which means when you are tired and weary, please stop here, taste delicious food and relax. The shop is not large. It is decorated with white, black, and gray. Fashionable, simple and with petty bourgeois sentiment. Mrs. Wang said that the people who come here to eat are all white-collar workers in the office building. Firstly, what attracts them must be the unique storefront. And secondly, it is the delicious food. So we have invested a lot in decoration. Mrs. Wang has given me a lot of advice. She is a noble person in my life. I should manage this store well. There are 4 waiters and 2 cashiers. On the opening day, many people came. Everyone sent a lot of flower baskets. There were Mr. Wang's colleagues and Mrs. Wang's friends. Mrs. Wang's son works in that office building, and also invited 3 or 5 colleagues to come and support. I was extremely busy in the back kitchen, so I had to leave all the greeting work to Mrs. Wang. Although my body was tired, I had an unprecedented sense of achievement in my heart. On the first day of opening, with a 20% discount, there was still a surplus of several hundred yuan. Although it was not much, Mrs. Wang said that it was already very good. She kept praising and encouraging me like a mother praising her daughter, giving me confidence. I think this is why her children are so excellent. When I got home, it was already 2 a.m. Fortunately, I don't have to do the morning market, so I don't have to get up early. After washing up and lying on the bed, I had time to look at my mobile phone. There was a WeChat message from Leo. Congratulations. Good luck on your opening. Thank you. I replied politely. Unexpectedly, he replied back in a second. Just got home? Hard work. Have a good rest. He sent a picture of good night. I put my mobile phone aside and fell asleep as soon as I closed my eyes. The next day, at noon, many more white-collar workers came to eat. Mainly they ordered fast food. Guests who had finished eating could take a nap in the store. Soft light music was played in the store. Free coffee, milk, fruits and small snacks were provided. In Mrs. Wang's words, we should use extreme service to retain guests and make them feel at home. The cashier, Xiao Hu, brought me a large handbag. Inside was a pillow with a thin blanket. Boss. He is very handsome. He also told me to make sure you take a rest in the afternoon. Xiao Hu winked and smiled ambiguously. A figure of Leo flashed through my mind. I thought that he would definitely send a WeChat message to confirm whether I received it or not. Then I would ask him to take it back. However, until evening, I didn't receive his WeChat message. In recent years, except for him, I haven't had any contact with other men outside the Wang family. If it wasn't him, who else could it be? But if he doesn't say anything, I can't ask. If I ask and he says no, it will seem that I am being too self-indulgent. Thinking about a small gift, I just pretended to be stupid and let it pass. But later, for some time, I received many small gifts one after another, such as warm baby, hand cream, ladies' milk, fruits. Everyone knew that I was divorced and single. They teased me with a smile and asked me to accept such a good man quickly. I was a bit confused and a bit helpless. This person doesn't say anything or show his attitude. Is he going to be a living Lei Feng? If it wasn't for the mealtime when I was extremely busy in the back kitchen, and he came irregularly and left after delivering the gifts, I would have caught him long ago, just when I was telling my employees to keep him next time he came. Tiffany's high school head teacher called and said that the child was in puppy love and asked me to come to the school. 12 I was surprised. This didn't happen in my previous life either. When I went there, Ryan also came. The head teacher was not there. Ryan was scolding Tiffany, saying that she had disappointed him so much. I stepped forward and protected Tiffany behind me. When he saw me coming, his anger grew even greater. Look, this is your good daughter. She has always been my good daughter. I held Tiffany's hand tightly. Her hand was very cold, but her face was extremely firm. I am not in puppy love. Look at her. Still lying. Ryan pointed at her. I don't want to take care of her anymore. You take her back. From now on, I will give you 1,000 yuan in alimony every month. 2,000. Tiffany didn't want to be outdone. If you don't give it, I won't move. I am your daughter. You must take care of me. Ryan was furious and raised his hand to hit. I stopped him and asked coldly, what? Now your wife is pregnant and Tiffany is an eyesore to you? At first, you said you wanted Tiffany to be with you. Now you don't want to raise her and still want to commit domestic violence? Ryan's face turned green, then white. Finally, he put down his hand. Okay, I'll give it. After saying that, he turned around and left. I sighed secretly. When I turned to look at Tiffany, she stubbornly held back her tears. Mom, am I great? I got an extra 1,000 yuan. How could I not know that she asked for more money to reduce my pressure? I hugged her affectionately. My daughter is the greatest. Tiffany's voice suddenly choked. I really am not in puppy love. Believe me. Well, as long as you say it, Mom will believe you. In recent years, not only have I changed, but Tiffany has also changed. She has her own ideals and goals. She wants a broad future. How could she focus on the little love in front of her? Later, the head teacher brought the other person involved in the scandal. It was none other than Tim and his uncle. Seeing them, I almost laughed out loud. Fighting in junior high school and being in puppy love in high school. Won't these two kids really have feelings for each other? Although I guessed so. I was extremely calm in my heart. The head teacher apologized to me and said that the matter had been investigated clearly. It was a girl in the class who was jealous of Tiffany's grades and had a good relationship with Tim. So she spread rumors. He was worried that I would pursue that girl. So he didn't bring her over. He said that she would apologize to Tiffany, and read the apology letter in class. The incident didn't cause a very bad influence. So I have no objection to the teacher's handling result. But Leo said, my boy is tough. It doesn't matter if he has slandered a few words. But Shang Tong is a girl. Gossip is a fearful thing. If there is a next time, I will directly call the police and sue for slander. At that time, it won't be as simple as reading an apology letter. Please make sure the teacher conveys this sentence. They are all big kids, and should be responsible for their words and deeds. The homeroom teacher's face looked a bit ugly. But it was hard to refute. After all, Tim's grades are good. I chatted awkwardly with the teacher for a while and then left. Sitting in Leo's car again. My state of mind was different. How's business? Leo said something to break the ice. Not bad. If you're too busy, hire a chef. Now that you're the boss, there's no need to do everything yourself. I will consider it. After hesitating for a moment, I still asked. Those things were all sent by you, right? 13. Leo was silent for a long time before he said, yes. You don't have to feel burdened. The things are not expensive. I took a deep breath. It's not a matter of being expensive or not. Leo, I'm not worth it. Since we met, it's better to make things clear. I know what you mean. But, no, we have too much difference in background. Moreover, I am a divorced woman. Leo, you are a good person. There's no need to waste time on me. Suddenly, he stopped the car by the side of the road. Leo looked at me. His eyes sincere. I'm only 2 years younger than you. There are even couples with a 10-year age difference. Why can't we? Besides, I'm not young anymore. Background means nothing to me. Your tenacity, your unyielding spirit, and your clear-headedness are all subtly attracting me. Stella, I like you. A liking with marriage as the premise. I was at a loss because of his overwhelming confession, and tried to get out of the car by pulling the door handle. But the door was locked. How could I get out? Alas, I thought my words would make him back down. Who knew he would take an unusual path? Sorry. I only regard you as Tim's parent. I suppressed my pounding heart, and firmly refused. A flash of disappointment crossed Leo's face. He said with a bitter smile, it's okay. If we can't be lovers, we can still be friends. Right? I replied, feeling an indescribable bitterness in my heart. The best distance between me and him is being friends. When Tiffany moved over, she was not at all sad about leaving her father. I don't know if she was pretending for me or if she really didn't care. The funny thing is that the first sentence she said to me was, did you reject Uncle Lin? I gently patted her little head. Don't pry into adults' affairs. Oh, Uncle Lin is so good. Why did you reject him? Tiffany looked disappointed. What's so good about him? As soon as I asked, she perked up. Uncle Lin gives Tim extra food whenever he has time. And he always brings an extra portion for me. There are also study materials. Even the secret exam papers that can't be found online. He will prepare a copy for me. It's because of these that classmates misunderstand. Oh, right. That girl had a crush on Tim originally. Tim is really good looking after losing weight. But he's not as handsome as Uncle Lin. Mom, you should consider Uncle Lin. If it weren't for his love for you extending to me, how could I get such precious materials? The girl's words made me confused. I couldn't help but secretly grumble. Leo, you're really something. Even my daughter has been won over by you. She wishes I could repay your kindness of giving materials by devoting myself to you. Of course. I won't ask him about these things. Since we agreed to be friends, everything before can be regarded as friendship between friends. In return, I also started to let Tiffany bring food to school from time to time. Bringing fruits, rice balls, and sushi in different varieties. Leo was not to be outdone either. He provided sandwiches, chicken wings with French fries, roast duck, etc., constantly supplementing them in different ways. Not long after, Tiffany refused to bring food anymore on the grounds that her face had gotten fatter. The business of Junting gradually stabilized. Due to limited manpower, we didn't offer takeout service. As a result, everyone knew that our dishes were freshly made and not pre-made dishes. Instead, more people came to eat at the restaurant. The previous assistant was a graduate I directly recruited from a culinary school. Young people are energetic and innovative. While training them, I recruited a few more people. Mrs. Wang said that to run a good enterprise, One must first retain talents. I deeply agree. In terms of welfare benefits, they are set according to prices higher than the market. Wages and annual leave increase annually according to seniority. For those who do well, bonuses will also be given additionally. Not only that, during festivals and holidays, I will send gifts to the families of employees. Mainly practical things like food, drinks, and daily necessities. Let employees truly feel that as bosses, we treat them like family. They are happy at work and provide better service to guests. The restaurant staff is stable, and the skills of the young chefs in the kitchen are gradually improving. I gradually let go and see a vigorous and enthusiastic team. I don't know if it's because a food blogger visited and posted a video some time ago. The guests who come here to eat are no longer limited to the white-collar workers here. Many people come here especially, including Ryan and his wife. When they saw me sitting at the cashier, there was undisguised mockery in their eyes. "Why? Were you dumped by your boyfriend?" I said to find someone more reliable. Ryan's tone was very smug. "He is happy when I'm having a hard time." His wife put on an understanding look. "Okay. Don't say that. She's had a hard enough time already. If it weren't for you giving Tiffany so much living expenses every month, I'm afraid the lives of the mother and daughter would be even harder." I looked at the two of them like looking at fools. "Are you done? If you want to eat, eat. If not, get out. What's your attitude?" The two of them were immediately angry. His wife shouted that she wanted to call the boss to judge. Xiao, who came out of the bathroom and was shocked when he saw this scene. He quickly ran to me. "Boss. What's wrong?" 14 boss? Ryan and his wife stared wide-eyed and looked at me in disbelief. I said with a forced smile. "Still want to eat? I don't mind them eating here. Who wouldn't earn money if they could?" But seeing their expressions as if they had a bone stuck in their throats, they probably can't eat anymore. Ryan looked at me scrutinizingly. "You can't possibly have the money to open a restaurant. Did you latch on to some old man?" "Stella, I didn't expect you to sink to such a level." His wife chimed in, her tone full of sarcasm. "As a middle-aged woman, if she can have an old man, oh, it's good if a rich old man takes a fancy to her." As soon as she finished speaking, I directly slapped her in the face. When she realized what had happened, she wanted to fight me desperately. In the next second, the lovely employees rushed to me and protected me behind them. "Stella, you're crazy." Ryan was furious but didn't dare to step forward. I rubbed my hand and snorted. This slap should have been given long ago. A mistress still dares to jump around in front of me. Do you think I'm still a soft person for you to manipulate? Call the police. I'm going to call the police. His wife said tearfully. Go ahead. I have surveillance here. I pointed to the monitor at the door inferently. I know Ryan too well. Face is more important than life. They can only swallow this slap. Ryan stared at me viciously. Don't think that just because you're the boss you're someone superior. There will be a time when you cry. After saying that, he dragged his wife and left, but was blocked by a large bouquet of fiery red roses. Everyone made way, and I saw Leo, holding flowers and walking towards me with a smile. A white shirt and black trousers made him look elegant and mature. My heart couldn't help but beat faster uncontrollably. Happy birthday, he said to me softly. My heart skipped a beat. Is it my birthday? I took out my phone and looked. It really was. I had been so busy that I had forgotten. Leo explained. It was Tiffany who told Tian. They are preparing for the college entrance examination, and don't have time to ask for leave to celebrate for you. Tian asked me to represent them and wish you a happy birthday. Thank you. Suppressing my excitement, I took it with a smile. It's him. Xiao Hu exclaimed. Boss. It's this gentleman who has been sending you things. She looked envious. This bouquet has at least 99 roses. Wow. So romantic. It seems like I'm watching an idol drama. I gave her a funny look. At our age. What idol drama? While talking, I looked again behind Leo. Ryan and his wife had already left. I welcomed Leo into the private room. Since he had sent blessings, I couldn't be so stingy as to not even treat him to a meal. We talked about children and work like old friends. Leo is already talkative and can easily diffuse the subtle atmosphere. In the meantime, everyone knocked on the door and came in. Xiao, who was holding a delicate little cake. They sang the birthday song for me together. I was very touched and my heart was warm. You see, as long as you treat everyone sincerely, everyone will also give you the most sincere blessings. Leo took a group photo of us. After leaving, he sent me the photo and didn't forget to praise, "You who are full of confidence exude a unique charm." I replied with a thank you. A few girls like Xiao who surrounded me and gossiped, asking what Leo does and how long he has been chasing me. They didn't say anything about asking me to accept him. They just kept praising Leo for being kind-hearted and careful. They also said that when he looked at me, his eyes shone. I smiled non-committally. My heart was incredibly soft. Leo is really good. But can I really accept him? 15 before Tiffany's college entrance examination, Ryan came to see me and brought some gifts for Tiffany, saying it was to cheer her on. I asked him why he didn't give the gifts to Tiffany himself. His face flushed. After hesitating for a long time, he finally opened his mouth and asked me to borrow money. Ryan said his child was sick, but his stocks were locked up. "I will pay you back as soon as possible," he said. I immediately refused. "Ryan, for the sake of making sure I couldn't get any property in the divorce. How did you scheme against me? How dare you ask me?" Ryan frowned. "I remember you were always very kind. Why are you so heartless now that you've made money?" I sneered. "If the price of kindness is being deceived and humiliated by you, I'd rather be a villain. In my previous life, I didn't have money. Ryan didn't come to me either. Instead, he went to his hometown and sold his parents' house. His parents had nowhere to live and moved in with him. Later, the child got better. But the relationship between the old couple and their daughter-in-law was very tense. They quarreled every 3 days and had a big fight every 5 days. Ryan, caught in the middle, was extremely exhausted and his life was a mess. But what does this have to do with me? This is his choice and he has to bear it. A month later, Tiffany's college entrance examination ended. She and Tim lived up to expectations and were both admitted to their ideal universities. I asked Tiffany what she wanted. She said she wanted to travel to the seaside with me. In junior high school for 3 years and senior high school for 3 years. A full 6 years. I was busy with my career, and she was busy with her studies. We didn't go out to play even once. I agreed to her and asked for leave from Mrs. Wang. Mrs. Wang teased me that since I was already the boss, there was no need to ask for leave from her. The feeling of being able to freely time couldn't be better. We took 2 large suitcases and went out, planning to travel around for a month before going home. Unexpectedly, on the plane, we actually met an acquaintance, Uncle Lin. Tim. What a coincidence. Tiffany greeted happily. Tim grinned like a flower. This is fate. Leo and I couldn't help but look at Tiffany and then at Tim. We always felt that there was something fishy about this. Before we could think more, Tiffany pulled me to my seat. The 2 of us were sitting in the row in front of Leo and them. The 2 kids chattered non-stop. I was helpless. Suddenly, my phone rang. It was a WeChat message from Leo. I really didn't know. Accompanied by an innocent picture. I couldn't help but smile. In my mind flashed what Mrs. Wang said to me when she came to my house to give Tiffany a graduation gift before my trip. "Stella, don't shut everyone out just because of a failed marriage. That's not worth it." When Leo was young, he was fully devoted to his work and missed many good girls. He refused the blind dates arranged by his family. His parents have given up. Now for them. As long as the daughter-in-law is a woman, you mustn't belittle yourself. Now you are confident. Courage is completely worthy of him. He once said to my husband that he would rather be alone all his life than settle for less. And you are the one he will not settle for. At this moment, the closed heart seems to have been chiseled open a hole, and the mountain that has been weighing on my heart for many years has disappeared without a trace. Isn't coming back again just to make myself live happily? Maybe God didn't let me go back to an earlier time because he wanted me to meet the right him. A light cough broke my train of thought. Looking sideways, Leo has replaced the person beside me. Well, they said they want to discuss the game, Leo explained unnaturally. And there was even a faint blush on his oracle. I couldn't help but smile. I reached out my hand to him and said, "Hello. My name is Stella." Leo was stunned for a moment. Overwhelming surprise flowed in his eyes. He gently held my hand and said, "Hello. My name is Leo."